Welcome back everyone to another NRG, this time on the Sega Mega Drive, or Genesis if you are stateside, and here we are with Golden Axe 2, with a lovely little intro video, which is a nice little teaser to what's to come with Death Adder clone here. Not Death Adder himself, I believe, the story tells it, but the same three warriors mighty are back. And here we are, back in the land of Uria. I think that's how you pronounce it. In 1991 this was released only on the Mega Drive Genesis, and it's not the same game as the arcade Revenge of Death Adder. It's not that. That was released a year later, in 92. That's part of the Golden Axe franchise, but not necessarily the ultimate sequel, which this is, and it's more akin to the original. As you can see, the sprite design is very similar. The whole presentation is extremely similar to the original game. However, there are some adjustments, some changes, and there are also some misgivings, which this is the reason why I don't find this as enjoyable as the original. Presentation wise, the graphics I think are lovely, they're really nice. Some good movements. I don't think the movement and animation is actually as good as the original. Maybe a few frames missing than before, but not a lot. I mean, it's not very noticeable. The backgrounds are, though, unfortunately, and we'll get to that as we go along. So it's the same old stuff, hack and slash stuff. I'm playing as Axe Battler, and the scale of the I noticed the scale of the townsfolk are also completely out, which is typical Golden Axe lore. Here there's some nice new enemies, nice new sprites. So you've got these guys are the maces. They're back, looking rather nice. The sprites are actually a little bit more detailed than before. Maybe that's the reason why they don't move as smoothly as they did in the original. Also, the pacing on this game is a lot slower than the original. It just feels slower. It feels slower, and it feels a little bit more sparse as well. That's not to say it's easier. It's not. It's still quite a tough challenge, like the original. I'd say it was the same sort of difficulty. You're collecting magic books instead of potions this time, as well. So I'm on the chicken legs here, one of the Bazarians. And it's got a little horn on the back and just kick him. One of the Bazarians actually bleeding useless in this. So anyway, I was talking about the backgrounds, and for me the background seemed very dull compared to the original. The original had this sort of mood to it that really worked well, and I love the way you sort of like transition from odd strange areas like the back of the turtle's back and on the back of the eagle and stuff like that. It's not so much the case in this sequel. It's all very ground-based, land-based, typical castles, all that kind of stuff. Background is just a very repeated, dull, samey. There's not a lot going on when it comes to surroundings, which is a shame because, like I say, the first game felt more complete in that area. It built the world more better. The world is, fair enough here. This big sprite here is pretty nice, this wolfy kind of dude. Shame the hammer guys aren't returning. They still behave in the same way though, you can still trick them in the same ways. Certain moves are changed as well for the characters. So you've still got the old knock on the head, slash and all the usual stuff. Axe Battler still got a shoulder charge as well. But his spinning sword back attack, for instance, is a little bit different. He'll do a front slash first and then turn around and slash backwards. The same goes for all three of the... Oh, he threw me there big time. And he had a laugh about it too, with his big ball and chain. That's the first level over. So these weird froggy things turn into, not goblins this time, sort of like little mages. We just whack the spell books out of them. Same old sort of stuff from the first one. The magic works slightly differently as well. So the magic spells are actually different for two of the characters. And there's a little transition here through the looking glass, through the crystal ball, with the story, of course, playing out. Axe Battler, he has wind power as opposed to rock power or earth power like he did in the first one. And Gilius Thunderhead, should I say? I always said Gilius when I was younger. Gilius Thunderhead. He doesn't have lightning anymore, he has earth power now, rock power. Tyrus Flare, of course, the sexy Amazon with the long sword, still has fire power. And you can actually change the strength of the magic that you cast as well. Instead of just hitting the magic button and using all your spellbooks or potions like it was in the original, you can hold the magic button down and it will just gauge up the charge for how strong you want the magic to cast, which is a nice little addition because it means you don't lose all your magic in one hit. This Spazzarian is horrible. It does a double tail wag, and it always wags behind first. So it's tricky. There you go. So look, sort of hit behind first. A bit of an odd one. Yeah, a bit of a tricky to use this dude. You still have the running attacks and everything, and of course the good old skeletons, who are still double hard as they always are, Jason the Argonaut style. But I love the fact that they still do their ridiculous thing where they run at you and they'll fall off platforms, and they still have that bizarre sort of. Let's have a look, see if we can get this dude. Right, run at me. Oh no, I've killed him. Still didn't get him to run at me. Oh no, he's hit me. I haven't moved. Didn't move out of the way. Come here, mate. I'm going to throw you over instead. That's what another thing you can do. You can change the direction of the throw. And down he goes. No? Oh, I thought. Oh. Right, there he goes. Off he goes. And kicked him off the side. That's always nice. I always think these guys are going to come to life. And they don't seem to. Skeletons are real bloody hard as usual. And of course the end bosses can be tough too. And there's a good selection and a good variety. But see what I was thinking about the background. So here we go. Really dull. No decoration on the walls or anything of this castle. Simple textures, simple repeated blocks of graphics. Very dull. That's very lazy as far as I think that's very lazy. They put a lot of effort into the sprites, I've got to admit that. It just doesn't play and doesn't feel as fluid and as good as the original. I mean, it's perfectly playable and it's a very good game. It's perfectly acceptable as a nice good old mindless hack and slasher. But it just doesn't have that mood, that sort of tangible feel that the original did. The music is nice, but again, it hasn't got that same mood to it. It seems a bit flat. The music just seems a bit, again, dull. It's a weird sensation to sort of describe, that the whole thing just feels, yeah, it's okay, but you could have done a little more, haven't you? I mean, yeah, using the same formula, that's fair enough. But they're sort of like made half changes, sort of like, oh, you made a few sprite changes here and there, that's quite nice. A few move changes, magic changes, but the backgrounds are just dull as ditch water, the music seems flat, so do the sound effects. The sound effects just aren't as diverse as enough as they were. They're certainly, they seem to have lost something. It's lost an edge. It's Golden Axe that's lost its golden edge. That's what it is. That's what it feels like to me. You know, if you're going to give the original Golden Axe an 8 out of 10, then you've got to give Golden Axe 2 something like a 6.5 out of 10. And it's not from want of trying either. It's just. I think its final result is just maybe a little bit lazy, maybe a little bit rushed. That said, it is fun. It is enjoyable. The collision detection is pretty funny. Pretty good, should I say. Funny in places. The same old tricks work. I mean, most of the same old tricks work that you can do in the original game. And yeah, it is, like I say, a good challenge. And pink skeletons, well, there's something for you. They certainly look the part, don't they? Glow-in-the-dark pinko skeletons. They really are going to town on the Mardi Gras skeletons. They are. Axe Battler's got his shoulder guard on, which is about what he needed because he's going to be barging all of them over. And there we have the Headless Night Owl to round off round 2, the level 2 boss battle. And I think we'll leave it there. So there we go. That is Golden Axe 2 on the Mega Drive. I'm just going to cast a spell there just after my using the continue, just to show you that. That's just a one book cast. Yes, yeah, like I say, enjoyable game, but decidedly average. Just feels like it's missing something over the original. On the Mega Drive, 1991, by Sega, of course. Thanks for watching. Novabug out. Hey, Novabug here. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please support the channel by liking and commenting, and of course subscribing if you haven't already done. If you would like to support me further, please consider joining my Bug Army via Patreon. And also don't forget to follow me over at Facebook, Twitter, BitChute and Twitch. And finally, a special mention goes to my Bug Army General, Sam M. Thank you everyone for supporting me. Novabug out.